All right, guys, so what we've done on the inside is we've folded over, pressed, and stitched the outside edges on the inside, and then we had pressed over, we had clipped at a 1/2 inch, and then folded over and ironed on the inside. And what we've done is we have done a top stitch right there to hold that down. It's reinforcing the seam on that. So this is the inside here with all the fluff, and then the outside here. And this is the outer layer, and I'm using the contrasting thread so that you can see where my stitch is. And I am, again, not a seamstress, so my lines are not exactly straight, but they serve the purpose. So the inside of it with the cut seam allowance here, and then stitched to hold that down. It's a seam reinforcement. Okay, so what we'll do is you take the part with the seam allowance here and the part with the seam allowance here, and we're going to put together the insides, the pretty layers, and we're going to put those together so that the rough edges on the outside here, the rough edges on the outside there, and then we're going to pin along the top so that this will hold together, because we're going to stitch complete along the top and the bottom edges. So we're making sure that our top edge is more important, I think, for having it line up exact rather than the bottom edge, because you'll find that the bottom edge may tuck in underneath your chin, which is perfect. But on this part, we're going to try to make sure that the fabric meets up so that we can have a nice strong stitch there, and there's no chance of running off the fabric when we're sewing that. So we're just taking some pins. Now what they said with these 2 layers of the cotton material, it's 50% effective. So if somebody coughs in your face, it will protect you 50%. Once you have like a HEPA filter on the inside, then it goes up to about 80% protection. But what they did say is that since there are some people that are carriers of COVID-19 that don't even know that they have it, they don't have any symptoms, that if everybody wore a mask every time when they're out in public, then we could stop the spread and get a handle on this thing. Because if you don't have any symptoms, as you're breathing out, you're spreading those virus cells in the air around you, and if you're talking with someone or laughing, then they can go in the droplets, and if you're in a closed room, those can linger in the air for like 3 hours, and the next person can come in, it can be absorbed through their eyes or their mouth or their nose, or if they touch a surface and then touch their face, their eyes, their nose, their mouth, then they can get it like that. But if everybody wore a mask, then whether we knew that we were sick or not, we would be able to keep those germs inside of our mask. Now the beauty of these masks are they're washable, so you take them off in the evenings or after you've been out and about. Don't touch the front of it. Always touch just the ear loops, but you'll take it off by the ear pieces and wash it and dry it. You can wash it with just hot soapy water. Any kind of detergent, any kind of soap will break down the lipid layer of this virus. So, all right. So what we've done is we've pinned along the top, and we've pinned along the bottom, and we're going to stitch. Now, remember, we've got the rough sides of the seams. We have the rough sides on the inside and the outside. The pretty sides are together on the inside. So we're going to stitch from one end, and we're going to follow that seam allowance, and we're going to stitch and keep your threads, kind of close together, because you want it to be strong. And again, down at the bottom, we're going to stitch the whole way across there, and then we'll flip it inside out, and then we'll work on the parts where you'll put your elastic in. So I'm going to be stitching this, and I'm doing it again in contrast colored thread. I've got black thread, and this fabric that I'm working with is like a pale blue and a cream color which is about most of the kits that I put together for you guys were the light colors. Some of them were patriotic red, white, and blue kind of stuff. I just did whatever fabric that I had available at the time. So I apologize. I just want to make sure that you guys had something that you would be able to put together, you know, as a kind of a practice. And then once you get the hang of it, then you can use whatever kind of fabrics that you wanted to. But so we're going to go, it's that same kind of top stitch, the through one side and out the other, and then back through, so that it'll be a thin, I don't know if you guys can see. We're just going basically in this way, out that way, and back through. And I started on the bottom edge, didn't mean to, but that's okay, because in the end it all kind of comes together. But we have stitched it to be paired up as close as possible on the edges. So I'm going to finish this up, and then I will record the next session to walk you guys through to where we go from here.